Welcome back to Genes, Microbes, and AI, revolutionizing infection control and counseling. I'm your host, Saakshi, and I'm excited to bring you another episode where we dive into the incredible ways artificial intelligence is reshaping health and empowering patients. We have already explored predicting outbreaks and fighting superbugs. Those episodes are must listens if you haven't caught them yet. Today, for episode 3, we are diving into something that feels almost magical: gut brain connections, AI insights, and counseling for neurological health. We'll unpack how AI reveals links between our microbiome and genome to neurological disorders like depression, and how genetic counselors help patients turn these insights into practical lifestyle changes or therapies. Joining me, as always, is the amazing Dr. Sukant Khurana, a neuroscientist and data science expert who's passionate about AI's role in unlocking health mysteries. Dr. Khurana, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Sakshi. The gut brain axis is one of my favorite topics. It's like discovering hidden conversations in our bodies. I'm thrilled to dive in.
A hidden conversation. I love that. Let's get started. The idea that our gut microbes could affect our brain, maybe even our mood, feels so wild to me. I mean, my stomach's in charge of my happiness. Can you give us a quick rundown on what this gut brain axis is and why it's such a big deal for conditions like depression?
Totally wild, right? The gut brain axis is two-way communication between your gut microbiome, those trillions of microbes, your brain, via nerves, hormones, and chemicals. Your microbes can influence mood, stress, even cognition. For depression studies show certain bacteria like bifidobacterium can boost serotonin or happy chemical, while imbalances might worsen symptoms. In fact, we have started a thing in a different direction with epilepsy. There too, a lot of connection is tied to neurotransmitters and even other metabolites. It's a big deal because it opens new ways to treat neurological disorders beyond just meds.
That's mind blowing. My gut's basically a mood DJ. So, how is AI helping us figure out these connections? I'm guessing there's a ton of data involved when you are linking microbiomes, genes, and brains. What's AI doing to make sense of it all?
AI is like master puzzle solver. It analyzes massive data sets, your microbiomes, bacterial makeup, your genome variants, and brain-related data like neurotransmitter levels. Machine learning models like neural networks spot patterns like how a gene variant and gut microbiome might together raise depression risk. For example, AI has found links between low lactobacillus levels and genetic markers for serotonin issues, pointing to new treatment targets.
A master puzzle solver. That's such a great image. I'm picturing AI piecing together this giant jigsaw of my gut and brain. But let's make it personal. Say I am struggling with depression and I'm curious if my gut's involved. How does genetic counseling bring these AI insights to me? What would a counselor actually tell me?
Genetic counselors are guide here. They'll take AI's finding like your microbiome low in certain bacteria, and you've got a gene variant linked to mood regulation and break it down. They might say, Sakshi, your gut brain axis could be out of balance, which might affect your depression. Let's explore diet changes or probiotics to support your microbes. They will also talk about your feelings, making sure you're supported, not overwhelmed.
That sounds so reassuring. It's not just data, it's someone helping me make sense of it and take action. Can you share a real example of how AI and counseling are working together to help people with neurological conditions like depression or maybe even something else?
So, in 2024, a US study used AI to analyze microbiome and genetic data from patients with depression. It found a pattern how low Faecalibacterium levels and specific serotonin gene variants were common in severe cases. Genetic counselors use this to recommend tailored probiotics and dietary fiber to boost these bacteria alongside therapy. Patients reported a 20% improvement in symptoms after 3 months. Similar work starting for Parkinson's linking gut microbes to disease progression.
A 20% improvement. That's huge for someone feeling stuck. It really shows how this science can touch lives. Let's talk about those recommendations like probiotics or diet changes. How does AI help counselors pick the right ones for, say, my depression?
AI is super precise here. It looks at your microbiome, like which bacteria are missing, and your genes, like those affecting nutrient absorption. For depression, it might flag that you need more bifidobacterium and suggest a probiotic strain that thrives in your gut based on your DNA. Or it could recommend prebiotics like inulin-rich foods if your genes show slow fiber metabolism. Counselors then tailor this to your lifestyle, like try chicory root in your smoothies.
Chicory root smoothies. I might actually try that. I love how it's so specific, not just eat healthy. What about other neurological disorders? You mentioned Parkinson's. Anything exciting AI breakthroughs there that counselors are using?
Scientists are using, and obviously counselors are conveying, Parkinson's is a hot area. AI found microbiome shifts like low Prevotella in patients often tied to genetic markers for dopamine issues. In 2023 trial used, um, uh, there was a use of AI to suggest higher fiber diet for some patients based on the genes and microbes to slow symptom progression. In fact, something that didn't go very far. I did some work around 6, 7 years back for someone, and was an important sort of office holder in a major U.S. Sort of medical group. And we had done something. We got even coverage in some Chicago newspaper. There is still something online on a rise of freelance adaptation. So we discussed a follow-up, but that because the funding didn't take off, was actually trying the Indian trifla for Parkinson's because dietary changes and in fact digestion and gut movement are huge issues related to Parkinson's, and in fact correcting those can even slow down the progression of Parkinson's. So there's huge. Now counselors are guiding patients through these changes on how gut might ease tremors or stiffness alongside meds, but it's early days. It's very promising, but it's early days.
That's incredible. Helping with something as tough as Parkinson's through the gut. Okay, let's talk tech for a moment. What kind of AI tools are unraveling these gut brain links? Are we talking super fancy stuff?
It's a mix. Deep learning, like convolutional neural networks, it's great for analyzing microbial DNA and brain related gene expression. It's like decoding two languages at once. Clustering models help group patients by microbiome genome patterns spotted who would benefit from similar therapies, and graph based AI maps how microbes and genes interact like a web. Together, they give counselors clear and actionable insights.
A web of interactions. That's so cool. How close are we to seeing this in everyday healthcare? Like, can I walk into a clinic tomorrow and get AI driven gut brain advice from a counselor?
We are getting there in research hubs like in US and Europe, even in China, where research is becoming priority. Clinics are testing AI-guided microbiome therapies, and counselors are starting to use these insights, especially for depression. It's less common globally. Data and training are barriers, but telehealth is spreading access. In 3 to 5 years, I think mental health clinics will offer this, especially for personalized plans.
3 to 5 years. That's excitingly close. What's the biggest challenge slowing this down? I mean, it sounds like a dream for mental health care.
Data diversity is a big one. Most studies focus on Western microbes, microbiomes, which limits global use. It's also interpreting AI's finding for counseling. Interpreting these findings takes skill. We don't have enough counselors. I know you're interested in both microbiology, which can make a whole lot of difference for India in future. Globally, also there is a shortfall. Turning a 30% risk increase into conversation isn't easy. Explaining that to a patient, and there's skepticism. Patients and doctors need to trust that gut tweaks really help the pain. To understand if there is a 70-year-old or a 60-year-old doctor having been taught physiology where there is no connection between gut and brain and may not be up to date with the current status. Most doctors are just looking at what pharma companies are sending them some information. They aren't reading research papers. There are brilliant people also that too. Even a lot of personal interactions in Delhi and Bangalore show me that it's not just US. US, I came across a lot of physicians who are reading. But I'm talking there is a very large number. So adoption of newer information, understanding of updated understanding of our body is not there. So basically, there is skepticism. Plus, microbiome therapies need more clinical trials to go mainstream. And there is one very important issue. See, if a pharma company cannot make too much money from microbiome, right? It can't patent a bacteria unless it's modifying it. It might be able to come up with a combination, but slightly altered combination can be done by another company. So think of an angle, because if a company is investing money, millions, sometimes billion plus, sometimes even 10 billion, not talk of the cases, but you can Google how some drugs have taken an insane amount of money. Then there's so much money that goes out in therapies, there are no profits. There is that issue. So the overall drug discovery clinical trials have to become cheaper. And for that is one of the other sort of big things. So data diversity is a big problem, right? Counselors, shortfall, which I'm glad that some people that you're thinking of filling or at least helping fill, others fill that, is a big role. Then skepticism, lack of information, and then microbial therapies, clinical trials, and most importantly, the lack of path to profitability in these things.
Those make sense. Trust and trials are so important. Let's end with a hopeful vision. If AI and genetic counseling keep advancing, what could gut brain care look like in a decade?
Imagine this, you visit a counselor and they've got an AI report on your microbiome and genes. They say, here's a plan, probiotics, tailored diet, maybe a therapy tweak to lift your mood and ease Parkinson's symptoms. It's routine like checking your blood pressure. It's global, so everyone has access. Depression feels less heavy, neurological diseases slow down, and you feel empowered by your gut potential. That's the goal.
That goal gives me chills in the best way. Dr. Khurana, thank you for making this science so vivid and showing us how it's changing lives. To our listeners, I hope you are as inspired as I am by these gut brain connections. If you're loving this series, hit subscribe. We have got more on real time diagnostics and ethics coming up. Next, we'll explore how AI tracks infections live with counseling to guide patients. Don't miss it. I am Saakshi, and this has been Genes, Microbes, and AI, revolutionizing infection control and counseling. Stay curious and maybe hug your gut today.